Hey, Margie here. Welcome to the Wake Up, Pray Up, Boss Up podcast, the show that helps Christian moms prioritize their physical and mental health so they can boldly step into God's calling. I'm your host, Margie Ruiz.
What if I told you the most powerful health tool God gave you is something you're already doing about 20,000 times a day? Breathing. You can survive weeks without food. You can survive days without water, but without oxygen? Only a matter of minutes. And yet most of us never think about our breath until something goes wrong, until we're stressed, until we're overwhelmed, until anxiety shows up, until life feels heavy. And my friend, if you've been following me at all, you know this season of my life, it's felt heavy. What I've learned is that sometimes the fastest way to calm your mind isn't changing your circumstances. It's changing your breath. Because breathing isn't just physical. It's mental. It's emotional. And I believe it can even be spiritual. Today, we're talking about how God designed something as simple as your breath to help your body, calm your mind, and draw you closer to Him. Hey, Margie here. Welcome to the Wake Up, Pray Up, Boss Up podcast. Last week, we kicked off our new health series by talking about something I believe with my whole heart. Your body is not an accessory to your calling. It is the vehicle that carries you into it. If you missed that, go check it out because that's the beginning of the series, and I think it's important that you start there. Over the next several weeks, we're going to talk about healing from the inside out, hydration, sleep, nutrition, supplementation, movement, and how to steward the body God has given you. But before we talk about any of those things, before we talk about nutrition, hydration, sleep, before we even talk about exercise, we need to talk about breathing. Breath is the foundation. In fact, the very first gift God gave humanity, it wasn't food, it wasn't water, it wasn't even companionship. It was breath. Genesis 2:7 says, "Then the Lord formed the man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life." Think about that. The first gift God gave Adam was his breath. And the last thing we're all going to do here on earth is take one last breath. Every moment in between is sustained by the breath God gave us. And yet most of us pay no attention to it. Today, I want to change that because I believe that your breath may be one of the most overlooked tools God has given you for your physical, mental, and spiritual health. And if you can learn to breathe better, you can learn to live better. Let's start with the obvious. Like I said earlier, you can survive weeks without food. You can survive days without water, but without oxygen, only a few minutes. Most medical experts agree permanent brain damage can begin after about 4 to 6 minutes without oxygen, and survival becomes increasingly unlikely without intervention. Think about that. The most essential thing for life is something God gave us completely free. Every breath is a gift. Breath is life. And yet most of us walk around taking shallow little breaths all day long. We're alive, but we're not breathing well. Now let's talk about why breathing matters mentally. Lately, I've had some moments where my mind wanted to race ahead and solve everything. And one of the things that carried me through was walking. And while I walked, I breathed, I prayed, I slowed down enough for my body to remember it was safe. Here's something fascinating. Researchers have found that slow, controlled breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the part of your nervous system responsible for rest, recovery, and calm. In other words, your breathing is one of the few body functions that allows you to directly influence your stress response. You can't simply tell your heart to slow down, right? You can't tell your blood pressure to drop, but you can change your breathing. And when you change your breathing, you send signals to your brain that you're safe. That's why breathing is often used to reduce anxiety and stress. God designed our bodies so beautifully. The body and the mind are connected. And that's where I discovered something called breath prayer. I recently read this beautiful, beautiful book called Breath is Prayer by Jennifer Tucker. One of the things she explains is that breath prayer is different from meditation practices that focus on emptying your mind. Breath prayer focuses on filling your mind with God's truth. It's not about looking inward. It's about looking upward. It's taking scripture and connecting it to your breath. And honestly, I fell in love with it. Because when life feels overwhelming, sometimes long prayers feel hard. But one breath, one sentence, one truth, anybody can do that, right? The book teaches a method that even children can remember. You breathe in, smell the flowers, blow out the candles. Let's do it together. Breathe in slowly through your nose, smell the flowers. Now breathe out slowly, blow out the candles. Again, inhale, smell the flowers, exhale, blow out the candles. Simple, but powerful. Because breathing alone can help calm your nervous system. I already feel calmer just doing that. It can slow your heart rate. It lowers your stress response. Help your body move from fight or flight into rest and recovery. But what I love about breath prayer is that it goes one step further. It doesn't just calm your body. It anchors your mind in God's truth. Because let's be honest, most of us don't need fewer thoughts. We need better thoughts. We need reminders of what is true when fear feels true. We need reminders of who God is when life feels uncertain. That's why I love this breath prayer. Every inhale becomes an invitation. Every exhale becomes an act of surrender. And over time, something beautiful happens. Your body begins to relax. Your mind begins to focus. And your spirit begins to reconnect with God. So let me show you 3 breath prayers that have been especially meaningful to me during this crazy time. Okay? Breath prayer number 1 is for worry. The first prayer comes from 1 Peter 5:7. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. So what you're going to do is you're going to breathe in. I give you my worries and care. Ready? I give you my worries and care. Breathe out, for you care about me. Let's do it together. Breathe in. I give you my worries and cares. Breathe out, for you care about me. Inhale. I give you my worries and cares. Exhale, for you care about me. How many of us need that one? Breath number 2 is for fear. Psalm 23 says, even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. This one, you're going to inhale, I will not be afraid. And you're going to exhale, for you are with me. Friend, there have been moments this year when I needed that prayer desperately. Not because I knew what was coming, but because I knew who was walking with me. So let's practice that one, okay? First, inhale. I will not be afraid. Exhale. For you are with me. Good job. Okay, I got one more for you today. Breath prayer number 3 for strength. And this one may be my favorite. Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So we're going to inhale. I can do all things. We're going to exhale through Christ who gives me strength. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Notice what that verse doesn't say. It doesn't say, I can do all things because I'm strong. It says, through Christ. That's where the strength comes from. And honestly, one of the breath prayers I keep coming back to right now is this one. Inhale. I don't know what to do. Exhale. But my eyes are on you. That's from 2 Chronicles 20. And if you've ever walked through uncertainty, you know exactly why I love it. sometimes faith isn't having all the answers. Sometimes faith is simply keeping your eyes on God when you don't. Friend, breathing is something we do automatically, but maybe it's time we start doing it intentionally. Because every breath reminds us God is near, God is present, God is providing, God is sustaining. The same God who breathed life into Adam is still breathing hope into his people today. So here are your today's 3 clicks. Number 1, wake up. Pay attention to your breathing today. Are you breathing deeply? Or are you living in a constant state of stress? Remember, awareness is always the first step. Number 2, pray up. Choose one breath prayer, just one. Practice it every day this week. When stress comes, when worry comes, when fear comes, breathe and pray. Number 3, boss up. Set a timer for 5 minutes every day this week. Walk, sit quietly, or step outside and just practice. Smell the flowers, blow out the candles. Then connect your breath to God's truth. 5 minutes, that's it. Friend, remember that you can survive few minutes without oxygen, but you were created for more than survival. You were created to live fully, abundantly. And sometimes the first step towards that life is as simple as taking a deep breath. Next week, we're going to talk about something that surprised me when I started learning about it. We're going to talk about healing from the inside out. Because it doesn't matter how healthy your food is if your body can't properly absorb it. We're going to talk about detox, gut health, inflammation, energy, and why so many women are doing all the right things but still don't feel their best. So make sure you're back next week. Until next time, wake up, pray up, and boss up every day. God bless. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. Hey, if you enjoyed the episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, shout it from the rooftops, leave a rating and a review, all the things. And to catch the latest from me, you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at margie.gp6 or go to my website at margieruiz.com and make sure to sign up for my weekly newsletter. Thanks again. I'll see you next time. Bye.